This might be the worst call in WNBA history. Not just a mistake, this was a complete reversal of reality. A total breakdown of how professional referees are supposed to operate. When Caitlin Clark was called for an offensive foul against Tahina Pow Pow, the basketball world did a collective double take. Fans erupted, analysts were stunned, and players looked confused. But now, new footage has surfaced, and it's worse than anyone imagined, because this wasn't just a bad call, it was a backwards call, the kind of decision that shakes confidence in the integrity of the game itself. And it's only the beginning of what appears to be a disturbing pattern. Let's rewind and look at what actually happened during that now infamous play. Clark, handling the ball near the wing, explodes into a drive. She gets a step on her defender, Tahina Pow Pow, who's already flat-footed and out of position. Clark's speed forces Pow Pow to scramble, but instead of recovering cleanly, Pow Pow grabs Clark, literally grabbing her jersey with both hands. And then somehow, some way, the officials call an offensive foul on Clark. They claim she pushed off. But the video tells another story entirely. Let's break this moment down frame by frame because the details matter. Pow Pow's hand is clearly seen clutching Clark's hip, then the jersey, and then her forearm wraps across Clark's body. That's not defense. That's desperation. Clark's slight arm extension? It's a reflex, a natural human reaction when someone is holding you back while you're sprinting full speed. And here's the thing, Pow Pow wasn't even close to legal guarding position. Her feet were misaligned, her momentum going sideways, and her hands were all over Clark's torso. This wasn't just an illegal defensive play, it was a textbook foul by Pow Pow that the refs somehow pinned on Clark. But this is where it gets deeper, because this isn't just one isolated incident, it's a pattern. Go back and watch any recent Indiana Fever game. You'll see Clark getting hacked, held, grabbed, bumped over and over again with no whistle. Meanwhile, other players on the court are drawing fouls on far less contact. It's not speculation, it's visual fact. Play after play, Clark is absorbing physicality that would send most players to the line. But for her, crickets, nothing, silence from the whistle. This trend has become impossible to ignore. Basketball analysts across the country, many with no ties to the Fever, have openly questioned the calls, or more accurately, the lack of them. Even during the preseason, you could already see the cracks forming. Clark would drive to the rim, take contact, go to the floor, and play on. No foul. Then, moments later, another player would draw a whistle on a softer bump. Doesn't make sense? Unless you accept one very uncomfortable possibility. That Caitlin Clark is being officiated under a different standard. And it's not just fans who are noticing. Former players, current analysts, even rival coaches have begun quietly pointing out the disparity. Some are more vocal than others, but the whispers are turning into full-on discussions. The footage is undeniable, the data is stacking up. And when this much inconsistency surrounds one player, you start to wonder if it's really just a coincidence, or something more deliberate. Think about what this does to the game, to Clark's ability to lead her team. If your star guard is being manhandled on nearly every possession with no calls, how can you run a functional offense? Clark's entire rhythm is disrupted. Her teammates can't rely on screens or passes because they know Clark might not even get to her spot without getting grabbed. And when she reacts, instinctively or otherwise, she's the one who gets punished. It's not just unfair, it's game-altering. And let's be clear, this isn't about softness. No one's asking for Clark to get special treatment. But if the WNBA claims to be a professional league with professional refereeing, then the calls need to be consistent, because what we're seeing now is anything but. Let's take a look at what happened with Dana Bonner. She grabbed a rebound, got hammered under the rim, no call. Then Alicia Gray, on a fast break, clearly gets hacked going up for a layup. Again, nothing. These aren't 50-50 plays. These are blatant fouls, ignored. What's even more bizarre is how differently similar situations are treated depending on the player involved. 1 minute, the refs are calling touch fouls like it's a pickup game at a country club. The next minute, they're letting defenders straight up tackle Clark in transition, in the same game, in the same half. You can't build a consistent product like that. You can't expect players to adapt when the rules change minute to minute. But here's where things really start to get unsettling. There's an official, no names here, but some fans call them the MJ ref. Why? Because their whistle swings momentum the way Jordan used to swing playoff series. Think about that. A professional ref, known not for consistency, not for fairness, but for influencing the outcome of games with unpredictable whistles. That's not a nickname you want in this league. That's a red flag. And now, with more eyes than ever on the WNBA, this problem couldn't have come at a worse time. This is the league's moment. With stars like Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Angel Reese, and others drawing national attention, the spotlight is hotter than ever. But instead of showcasing elite talent and thrilling matchups, we're talking about officiating disasters. Instead of celebrating the rise of women's basketball, we're dissecting blown calls and missed whistles. Because this isn't just about Caitlin Clark, it's about the credibility of the entire league. Like, if fans don't trust what they're seeing, if they believe that games are being decided not by players but by referees, they'll stop watching. And that's the nightmare scenario for a league that's finally gaining momentum. You can't build a future on broken calls and backwards fouls, not when the world is finally paying attention. So where do we go from here? That's the million-dollar question, and right now, the WNBA is standing at a dangerous crossroads. They've built something special, something exciting, fast-paced, and marketable. The players are more talented than ever. The storylines are compelling. Fans are showing up, tuning in, and investing emotionally in these games. But if the league doesn't address the officiating problem head-on, they risk throwing all of that momentum away. Because no matter how good the product is, no fan wants to feel like the game is rigged, or worse, carelessly mishandled. We've seen what happens in other sports when referees become the story. It never ends well. The NFL had its controversies, the NBA has battled its own officiating demons, but those leagues had massive infrastructure and decades of fan loyalty to survive the storm. The WNBA is still growing, and if fans start to believe that outcomes are being shaped by bad referees instead of great players, that growth stops cold. Doesn't matter how talented Caitlin Clark is, or how dominant Aaliyah Boston can be, or how much buzz Angel Reese brings. If the referees become the central characters in every big game, people will tune out. And the danger here goes beyond ratings. It cuts into the very soul of the sport. Basketball is about fairness, it's about competition. It's about the best players going head-to-head and deciding the outcome with their skills, their grit, and their heart. When that's taken away, when refs decide who wins and who loses with inconsistent whistles, it robs the game of its meaning. And no player, no coach, and no fan signs up for that. We're not asking for perfection. Every ref will miss a call here and there. It's human. But what we're seeing now isn't human error. It's systemic inconsistency. It's bias disguised as judgment. It's confusion masquerading as authority. And the longer the league pretends this isn't happening, the worse it gets. The more credibility it loses, the more players get hurt, overlooked, and silenced. This is a crisis. And if the WNBA doesn't fix it now, they won't get a second chance. The truth is, fans aren't asking for special treatment for anyone. They're asking for the game to be called the same way on both ends of the floor, for every player, on every possession. That's not a luxury. That's the bare minimum. And if the WNBA wants to maintain the respect it's finally earning, it needs to deliver that consistency, starting right now. Because this isn't just about one botched call. It's not just about Caitlin Clark. It's about what kind of league the WNBA wants to be. One that uplifts its stars and protects the integrity of the game, or one that lets the whistle decide who shines and who fades. Players deserve better. Fans deserve better. The game itself deserves better. And the footage proves it, no matter how the officials try to explain it away. If you've watched the same plays, if you've seen the same hacks, the same no calls, and the same double standards, then you know exactly what's happening. Now the question is, will the league have the courage to fix it, or will they keep pretending we didn't see what we all just saw? Because trust me, we saw everything, and we won't forget.